Hey everyone, Lady Steam here. In this video, we're going to learn how to make the Dragon Dice Tower from the February 2023 box of making. I'm really excited to get to share this with you. It's been on our project list forever. So let's get started, shall we? First, of course, we have to open our bag. And I always keep a pair of scissors handy while I'm doing that so I can open my bag and pull out my card with my list of all the parts in it, as well as the parts themselves. So we've got a couple of dragons here. Those are going to be really fun to decorate. Usually at this point in the video, I'm talking about what you're going to need to decorate. So let me lay these pieces out for you, and they actually come in pairs. The etched piece is meant to go on the top, so here's the pair of the left tower and the right tower. And this is the back. And this cool piece is the front. And so you want to make sure, again, that you get those aimed the right direction. This hole right here is going to give us a latch to be able to put our moat in, so we can actually fold up and collapse our moat. We've got two cool side pieces here. And then what we've got are these three rectangles that are going to give us the inner dice rolling panels. So they should be on the inside. You can see them a little bit though. So in terms of decorating, you'll notice you have quite a lot to decorate. And then last but not least, this piece will be used to hold the moat into the inside when we're putting the whole thing together. So the first step, as always, is to decorate away. So go stop the video here. Sand the pieces so they're nice and smooth. I think making everything smooth here is going to be important to just how people feel about this piece. And then come back when you're ready and we'll start to put it together. Now, I'm assuming you've been gone for a bit, decorated all your pieces, made amazing art, and we're ready to put our box together. So I'm going to open our hardware kit right now. It has in it 2 rubber bands, and because this is the only hardware in this box, I've actually given you 3 half-inch screws and 3 nuts. We only need 2, but I wanted to make sure you had an extra just in case one fell on the floor or something else horrible happened. And so we're going to walk through how we put this together. And I'm going to start, doesn't really matter which of these 2 pieces you start with, but I'm going to start with the inside set of pieces. So I'm going to take my outside pieces and get rid of them for the moment. And I'm going to put the inside together first. I think it will make things a little bit easier in the long run. And it's a little more forgiving. The hardest part of putting this box together is getting our spacer pieces in correctly and straight. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and glue this back edge onto this, like so. No, I'm not. I lied. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue in here so we can get our end pieces stuck together. So we'll start with these 2, and I'm going to run a line of glue between them, like so. And then I'm also going to put a dot of glue on the top and the back here, which should give me plenty of glue strength to hold those together and pretty straight. And then I'll do the same thing on this one. I've already got my line of glue there, so I want to put my glue here and here. And now for this piece, the way it's going to go on is I've got 3 holes instead of 2, and we're going to come out to this edge. So I'm going to go ahead and do my glue lines like I did before between them. But I'm going to extend that out here all the way to the edge. And I'm going to again put my little bits of glue on these 3 tabs to get them lots of support for staying glued when we put this together. Now the challenge is super glue dries pretty fast. So I want to get this other piece on here and this whole thing glued together enough and soon enough so that if I have a problem with wussiness, that's a technical word you will hear often in laser cutting, wussiness. And I'm just putting a little glue on those tabs like so. And the trick is to get these all lined up perfectly. And since we glued them, it shouldn't be nearly as challenging as it was when I did it the first time with no glue on it. Yeah, with it glued together, it's pretty strong there. Now I'm ready to put on the back. So the front piece is going to be our drawbridge, and that's going to come down like this. So we want to start on the back. And we're going to put our back layer on here. And the reason I'm doing just 1 layer at a time, by the way, is because this means that the layers with the etching on them, the drawing on them, will have to go in the holes properly, and this will help us keep everything aligned. So as I put my glue here to lay things down, I've got 2 layers of glue coming, so I'm only going to put the glue on the inside edge, since we're going to add another piece of wood to this in a bit. So kind of the inside 1/8 inch here. All the way down. And if you're having trouble doing it this way, the reason I included the rubber band is you can always rubber band it together and slowly add pieces to it. But with gluing it together, you shouldn't need to do that. And notice how that comes perfectly right out smooth to that edge. And now we're ready to put our front piece on. And we'll do the same thing here. So we'll put these lines on the inside edge here. And then we'll do the same thing on here. And you'll notice we come down a little ways. I actually didn't need to go all the way down to the bottom on that last piece with glue, so I'll wipe it up once I get this piece in. And that's the nice solid beginnings of my dice tower. But again, I wanted this to be really, really strong for you. I assume you're going to toss it in a bag at some point, carry it to a friend's house, etc. So we wanted to make these really strong. So now that we've got the inner parts of it glued together, I'm going to go ahead and start on the outside. And because of the way we're doing this time, what we want to make sure we do is you want to make sure you get glue all over this surface, especially on this one, on the pieces that stick out, and on the wall turrets on the other one, because if you don't, you're going to have loose pieces, and loose pieces are not pleasant. Okay. So we'll glue that on. Again, super glue needs a little bit of pressure, so make sure you press down. Stick your finger inside if you need to get it nice and even. Wipe off excess glue if it's come out the edges to annoy you. And then I can work my way around and do the other side. Wrong one. I need this one now. Now, remember on these guys that we're actually covering up our panels that our dice are going to roll on as well. And since I don't have any holes on it, this one is just as easy to do on my nice big solid piece as it is on the other way. And if you're worried about glue, you can put a little on these little tabs that are sticking out. And we're going to stick this one in here like so. Give me a nice flat piece there. Do the other side first. Now, you might be saying to yourself, but why are there dragons, Lady Steam? And the answer is because there should always be dragons if there are towers. The idea of these dragons is you're going to get to glue them on the left and right sides of your tower, wherever you want to put them. And they can stick up as much as you want them to, so they look as cool as you want them to. So again, notice that I'm making sure I get in those little obnoxious sections that are trying to come out and escape. And you want to make sure that you push it down so it all glues together well. And now I'm ready for my back. Professor, any chance you got another bottle of glue hiding back there? I'm not sure I'm going to make it through the project. Why, thank you, Professor. What would we do without Professor Steam to save the day again? Now I'm going to put my back on, make sure everything is nice and snug and perfect, and I've got my tower built. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to build the little moat or drawbridge. And you can do it however you want to. I think the way it wants to look is with the unfinished, unetched edges on the inside, but with the cobblestones up here. So depending on what edge you're looking at it from, you'll get to see that. And I'm just going to do what I did. Do other times I make boxes, which is build a line. So I'm just going to go across here and make a nice little line all the way across. trying not to go too far outside those indents because you know you're going to have glue escape out and you don't want escaping glue. Now on this one where you've got a little bit over, that's the end that's going to come out. And on this end, this one, we've got the same thing. So those ends are going to come out, so I want to get some glue on those. And like I said, in the dice video, which you may or may not have seen, or in other videos I've done, I think it's easier to do boxes with all 3 sides at once to get yourself some alignment, or all 4 sides at once. So you're not fighting gravity quite so much. So I've got that corner lined up really nice. And pressure there. This guy's trying to escape me. Doesn't want to stay square. And when I'm doing a box that fits together like that, this and this one does, sometimes, although depending on what you think about what you want to show on this box, you can also run a little bead of glue up in the sides here to make this stronger. And if you run a bead of glue against all these corners, make it nice and consistent, it will help the glue squeeze into those little bits of holes and help the whole thing fit together nicer. So I'm just applying one more layer of glue. And if there's stuff that really is annoying me, I can wipe off some of the excess. But that gives me really nice, strong glue joints. And since you're going to have dice rolling against this strong, glue joints are really important. And so I have this tray built. And so what we're going to do next is we're going to put our screws in that are going to hold this tray together and let us be able to roll it up to the front like this and make it pivot. If you really don't ever want it to pivot, you could just glue these on and you'd be in good shape, but I want to be able to pivot it. So I'm going to go ahead and put the screws through the side like this. And then I'm going to do I'm going to put a little bit of glue on that screw here, and I'm going to put a nut on, but I'm not going to make the nut tight because I do want these to still be able to pivot when I'm done. Sometimes doing this, a screwdriver is your friend. And make sure you still got at least enough looseness to spin it once you do that. And we will put this other one in here like so, on the other half of the joint. And again, I'm going to put a little dot of glue here. And my hands are big enough that I think the screwdriver is the easy way to get those started. And again, don't tighten it too hard. If you go to tight, back it up a little bit once you do that. So this will go up and down like so. And that gives me my tower with its drawbridge. This piece will go inside like so, so that your drawbridge stays closed. You can stick it there when you're not closed. And last, but certainly not least, is the question of what are you going to do with your dragon. So you know your drawbridge is going to close like that. You're going to have to decide where you want your dragons to be. You can make them come up to the top like this and poke out over the top. If you think you're going to be traveling with it a lot, you can put them all the way down flat. But make sure you close the drawbridge first before you attach them so that you are sure your drawbridge will actually close when you do it. So I think I'm gonna visualize a line across my dragon about where my finger is. And we'll put glue on this wing. And the tail is a little bit loose, so be gentle with the tail. And then the trick is to make sure you don't stick it down till you know where you're putting it, so you don't get glue slid all over your piece. And I'm making my dragons up. Ooh, high. So much for making my dragons up high. Come on. More glue. Like I said, super glue seals with pressure. Depending on what you've used for paint, you're also going to have to be a little careful with that. Okay, I'm going to flip it over. And see how close I can get to getting this other one in exactly the same position. But looking like that's pretty darn close. Whoops, I gotta rotate that back out. Ah, glue, no. No glue sticking where it's not supposed to be. And I'm going to do the same thing I did the other way. Flip this over and press down a little bit so I can get some pressure on my dragon. Make sure both sides are stuck. And there you have it, your dragon dice tower. Hopefully you'll enjoy that. We think it's pretty cool. And roll the dice. Thank you.